I'm recording the process of learning how to create anchors for the headings on a long page and then making it so that I can have a link to the anchor from an index. I asked Copilot to help how to bookmark sections on a WordPress page and create links to the bookmark. And the first instruction it gave me was how to do it if I was using a block editor, which I'm not. I'm going to be using HTML. So as you see here, when I'm editing something, I don't have blocks. I'm just doing it visually, and I can go into code in order to be able to do extra things if I want to. So I told Copilot what the situation was, that on one of my sites I'm not using block, so I need to do it with code. I did try out what they told me to do, but it didn't quite work, so could they take me through step by step? And I said, for example, I have 6 headings in an index at the top of the page, like this, and then I copied and pasted the code. And this is how I got to it. I've got the cursor there, I go to code, then here's what I had in the code. So that's what I copied and pasted into Copilot. Copilot then very generously said, yep, take you through, tell you what to do step by step. So the first thing you have to do is to create anchor links in the code with HTML. So for each of the headings at the bottom, the targets that I wanted to jump to, I've got to create a link. Here we are, wherever your actual content sections appear further down the page, add an attribute to each heading. And here's the example, that's what you've got to do. That's the code that I've got to put in front of the word thanks. Now I made a mistake before, and I think I must have put in spaces and other things and paragraph markings, which made a right mess of it. So then I just calmly asked them to take me to step by step. So I put, here's the code for the first heading, which I want to anchor. The heading 2, which is strong, bold, thanks. So then without telling me off and saying, well, I've already told you that, there it is. It says, perfect, thanks, Helen. To turn that heading into a target for an anchor link, you just need to add an ID attribute directly to the heading 2 tag. And here's how to do it. So there's the code I need. I could just copy it like that, or I can click copy. I've actually just done a Control-C, and it says now any link that points to the word thanks will scroll the page to this heading. So you can see that at the moment it's H2, heading 2, strong, that's bold, thanks, and then stop being bold and stop being heading 2. It's copied that, but now it's put within it this ID equals thanks. So I suppose that I could just copy that bit, but actually I'm going to copy the whole thing like that and see what happens. So now that bit I'm now going to replace with this. And you can see the difference now, just take that out, is that I've got ID equals thanks. I'm just going to update it now just to see if that's made any difference to the appearance so far. I'm not expecting it to have done. If I update, then I go to visual, I go to thanks, and at the moment there's nothing to show that, I don't think. But it's telling me that any link that points to that will scroll the page to this heading. And I notice that it does have this hashtag. I haven't put hashtag in there, but it will know to do that somehow. So now I've got to do an example link in my index. So in the list at the top of the page, update the corresponding list item like this. So I've gone back into my code version. Here we are, there's the list at the top. So there, what they're putting in is before the word, it's LI, they're putting in href equals thanks. Oh, that's where we've got the hashtag, and then it goes into thanks. So it could be, I suppose, that I could highlight that. And that's the only extra bit that's been put in. Or I can highlight the whole lot. And that's what I think I'll do. So if I do a Control-C, Now I'm going to change that code to this, see what happens. Now it seems to put in an extra space there. I don't know what's going to happen. If I don't do anything with that space, let's see what happens. So if I update and then if I preview the changes, there we are. What's happened? So there I've now got this thanks, and if what should happen is that if I click to that, it should take me to thanks, and it has. So now I'm going to do the same for the rest. And I've noticed that even though there's that gap there, it didn't seem to translate into the page as giving it a gap. So that's something that I'm learning as I go along. So as I've learnt with the wonderful Learn Web Code teacher that I found on YouTube, by repeating things again and again, that's the way that you learn how to do it. So let's go through the next one. I now want to link the index of goodies there to jump to goodies here. So first of all, I'm going to go to the code, aren't I? And now I've understood what I've got to do. I'm not going to ask it to do it for each one separately. I now know, I'm pretty sure, that why it didn't work before was because I was putting in paragraph marks and all sorts of things. So let's see how it goes. So now I'm going to do, first section is add an ID to my target heading. So to goodies, which is the target heading, I'm now going to, and I'll show you there, visual target heading is there. Let's go into code. There it is. And that's what it looks like at the moment, just H2 goodies and then stop H2, stop heading 2. But now we're going to put an ID into it, which is called goodies. One thing they do say is to make sure that you don't repeat the bookmark throughout the site, and that is where it may be that I should have put thanks and some sort of identification for this page, because I'm sure I'm going to use it as a heading somewhere else. But anyway, for the moment, let's just stick with this. So I've highlighted that, done a Control C, and now I'm going to go over to here. Where was it again? So a reminder that in the visual I'm there, goodies, code, I'm there. Oh, there it is. I'd missed it out. So it's in fact, it's that goodies there where I need to have this. I'm going to go Control C, replace it with that. And it seems that that's fine to have that space there. Hasn't made, oh no, it has created a space there, hasn't it? So let's take that out. Where was it again? I went back again and then it seemed to be okay. Anyway, so I've now created that. That's got its bookmark. So now I'm going to want this to be the jump which goes down to that bookmark. So let's go into code, and there it is. So I'm going to create something which looks like that, but which has goodies. I go back to my helpful Copilot. That's the ID to my target heading. The link is now going to look like this. So I can go Control C and just replace it with that. Control there. Again, it's given that little space. Let's see what happens if I then look at the visual. It's worked, but there is a link. Sorry, there is a space, and that's what's created, it's mucked up the headings. And that's where I got up to before when I did a recording and I started it all over again. So I think I know what it is now. I think that by getting rid of that extra paragraph they put in, we're going to be okay. Let's see. So I go back to the code. And let's just get rid of these and see if this makes a difference. Okay, let's preview the changes. Yeah, so that's gone back. Yeah, that's okay now. Oh, look! And there we've got the link. So let's see, does it work? If I click on it, goodies, yes, it takes me to goodies. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep recording it. You can stop now if you like, but that's shown this is going to help me. So now I go to my visuals. Photos is the next one that I want to be a target. So I go into my code. That's what it looks like at the moment. I'm going to look at Copilot, and the ID to the photos, it's got to look like that. Control C, and then the photos are here, so I'm going to replace that with that. I'm just going to remove that, and now let's have a visual of that. Yeah, so that's looking okay. I think I can tidy up the paragraphing at the visual. Visual is so much easier, isn't it? This has mucked this up though. Let's see what I can do here. So now it'd be interesting to see, can I actually just do it? Yeah, I can do it from here. So if I don't really understand what I'm doing here, I can just take off the numbering and put it on again. Oh no, that's really mucked things up. Can I do Control Z and undo everything I've just done? Yes, I can. So I'm going to carry on and then try and sort out the numbering at the end. I'm now at the situation of wanting to do a link from the photos to my bookmark for photos. So I've gone into here again, link to your index item, and I do Control C. I want to put the link in there for the photos. I think probably thinking about it, it's best not to put the numbering at the top before I do all of this. In fact, I don't really need numbers at all, do I? Yeah, that's the point. So there I am. So now I'm going to replace that with one, visual, and there we've got the photos. And then if we look at it to see whether or not it's worked, preview changes. Photos, click on photos, and it takes me to photos. So I'm back to the presentation. I want to create an anchor there where it says, oh sorry, I wasn't in the editing, so now I'm in the presentation there. I click on the code. There it is. Copilot is telling me that the ID is here. Presentation, Control C, and there it is. I'm just going to replace it. Visual, presentation, it's there. And now I want to make the index go to presentation. So I do code for the index, whatever it is, it's going to go there. Copilot, link to your index. There we are. Control C, presentation. You can see with each one what it's doing is it's doing a hashtag which is saying go down to the anchor which says presentation. Let's see if that's worked by going to the visual. I've got presentation. Yeah, as you click on it, it's got that, and it would take you to when you look at it. If you want to preview the changes, let's see whether this is still working. There we are. Click on presentation, it takes me to presentation. The next thing is the to-do checklist. So I'm going to go down there to do the anchor. Click in there, go to code, Copilot, anchor, to-do checklist, Control C, and change that to that. Visual, yeah, that's fine. And then the index will be up here. To do checklist, and there the code is there. I go to Copilot, and they're telling me that the link is going to be this. There we are. Control C. There we are. Visual. Yeah, that's worked. That's going to go down, I expect. And then the initial invitation, final one, go down here to, I didn't make that. Oh, heading 2. I'll just do that so it's all the same. Heading 2. Code R. But probably, I suppose, now actually... yeah, that is not very sensible, is it? Because Copilot is very clever but won't realise that I've made a change. So Control Z brings it back to how it was, and I'll fiddle around with the headings afterwards. So I'm there. I go into code, the invitation, and that's where I go into Copilot. So this is anchoring the invitation. Although I have got heading 2 there, so I don't really understand what's happened. Let's see how that's going to work. Visual 2. Oh yeah, looks been clever. Ooh. Perhaps I did have it that way originally. And now our final thing is I want to link it from there. So I click in there, go to code, go to Copilot, link, and there we go. Control C, back. And it's all the way down here. I don't know where all these OLLIs have come from, but anyway, I think I'll tidy it up visually afterwards. So there we are. That's what it's looking like now. So now, while it's in its visual state, I'll just do a bit of tidying up to see whether or not this works now. I think I'll update. I don't know. No, I won't update it for the moment. So let's take off the numbering. Oh. Control Z. Right, I'm going to have to look into this again, because by fiddling around with this, I then lose all the content of everything on that page. So I'm just going to see whether it makes any difference if I fiddle with this and just remove all this, whatever the OL is. Just taking them out. I don't know if this is going to work. So let's take all that out. So it's thanks, goodies, photos, presentation, to do, and initial invitation. Okay, so I don't know what those things are. Let's have a look to see if that has helped it at all. Go on to visual. Right, it's still made it into lists, hasn't it? So I come back to this, and this still seems to be, it hasn't saved it. So perhaps I've got to save it before it shows. I don't understand this, because I keep coming back to it and it's put those things in again. So it may be that I save it this time and update. I don't know, I'm a bit nervous to do that. I've taken the plunge, I've updated it. So now let's see what preview changes. Oh gosh, it's all gone. No, it hasn't. Oh look, it's still there. So the numbers are still, so perhaps it's just taking a bit of time to process it all, and perhaps it would have been all right before, I don't know. So now I've come back to it again. It does have the correct numbers there now are done. I think I've just got to be patient for it to remember to do it. So let's see, final thing, view page. How's it come out? Oh, so the page, well, let's refresh it, see if it knows what to do. Now the page itself is presenting with the wrong numbers. I don't actually want numbers anyway, so I will take those away. let's see if it works then. So if I click on thanks, it goes to thanks. Go back. If I go to goodies, it goes to goodies. If I do photos, it goes to photos. Presentation goes to presentation. To do checklist goes there. And initial invitation goes there. All of this makes me realise that it's so much easier to use the blocks. So I might change this site so that I can use it. It's much easier with the other site that I manage, where I've learned how to do this with blocks. Anyway, it's quite satisfying to be nearly there. So this video is for me mainly. I don't expect anybody's stuck with me this long, but let's see whether I can finally get these get the numbers out of the way then. So you just go edit page. And before, when I tried to get rid of the numbers, it removed the content. Let's have a look. So there we are. I don't want the numbers. I click that. So at the moment it hasn't got numbers, but I'm happy enough to have bullet points, I suppose. There we are. So if I update that, and then if I updated it, let's view the page and see what that looks like. Yes, I think that's fine. Let's do it again. Yes, that's good. Okay.